Do you ever pretend that something is true when in fact you know it's not good for you? But you just push away all the uneasy things. So let me repeat that question. Do you ever compartmentalize? Do you ever say, oh no, this is all great, and you know it's destructive, you know it's not okay, but you just say, no, it's okay. So recently I've been talking to someone, and for years now, this person has been in a very, very toxic relationship. One could even talk about codependency. So years ago, I used to be in a relationship online, which basically was just as toxic. I was accused of codependency, and quite honestly, I do think that was true. So codependency is you need something from the other one, and so does the other one from you. And compartmentalization was the topic which was frequently talked about. So the reason I stayed in that relationship, because I had to put up with a lot of abuse, was that, and I literally said that, it made me feel things again. Emotionally, it made me feel things again. And I needed that at the time. Also, there were a lot of things I got taught because of this person, so it made sense to go on. At some point, he quit the relationship, which was a good thing. And then when sort of he gave the option to start it all again, I was like, no way, I'm not going to do it. So it was, I guess we both needed an abrupt ending in order to do so. But what if one person still wants to, hi Ida, still wants to hang on to that relationship because that person is convinced that it's good for him or her? What do you do? And so I've been talking to this person numerous times about how toxic the relationship is. He knows, because he can tell me, you know, at moments that when things are normal again, when he's hanging out with normal people, normal as in he doesn't have to tiptoe, he's aware, oh my God, you know, the moments that I was with the other person, I was tiptoeing. I couldn't look at one other person because I could be judged. And then I would get all these things like, see, you are not faithful. See, you want someone else. All these accusations. Now here's the thing. This person is madly in love with the other one. Or at least he thinks he is. Because she filled up a gap that he needed. It's like when you don't get any cuddles when growing up, then you might literally surround yourself with all those cuddly toys. And in this case, the same applied. So she filled a gap that he normally, that normally was a void. And what do you do when you know this is no longer right, but you still want that gap filled? That's when you come up with all these excuses. So even though you know someone is bringing you down, taking you down, that it's no good for you, you come up with excuses because you so badly want it to be true. That's when we talk about codependency and compartmentalization. So this all has to do with mindset. So it has to do when growing up, when you have to tell a bunch of white lies or maybe actual lies because of something which is going on at the household, you need to cover up for the outside world what is going on, or maybe even explain it to those close to you. But you have to tell lies in order to protect the other one, the one you love. Well, that's something that is ingrained in your system if that happens from the early age. You know, maybe somewhere between 0 and 7, but also later on in life. It's just something that you can't get rid of. So what happens when you grow older and you get into relationships? You start denying certain things you see that are not okay, but you've learned to survive by pretending it's not there, compartmentalization. And then when someone comes along and they give you something which you need, then what? Are you willing to say, you're not good for me, I'm going to push it away? A very extreme example is Stockholm Syndrome. You know, the people who have been abducted, especially when they're very young, and they say, yeah, but I love him. But in fact, of course, that's not the case. The other one doesn't love the other one. I mean, they abducted the person, they abused the person, but, you know, it's the only thing they know at some point or another. And when we talk about the whole codependency thing, and we talk about compartmentalization, that's what we talk about. And this is a very sad truth, but a part that we all at some point or another deal with compartmentalization. What do you do when you have a relationship for years with someone and you know that person is horrible for you? It's an abusive relationship, especially when you are with a narcissist. And narcissists, they don't say sorry. They are charming. And they know what to say and what to do in order to reel you back in. And then once they've got you, then they trample on you and it's over and done with. But yet, they manage to give you that one thing that you so long for. And so on your end, you might know that person is not good for you, but you can't see it. So what can you do about it? Well, the first thing is you need to talk about it, get support. And by talking to people about it, normally you would go back and forth and then you would get to understand like, oh, yeah, maybe this isn't okay. So what I usually do is I turn the tables around and I pretend to be the one who's hung up on a person who is the one who's harming me, who's abusing me. And then I say, okay, what are you going to tell me? That's usually they can tell what needs to happen, but then when it comes to them, of course, no. So one of the things that stands out in such a conversation is that those people are master manipulators themselves. And this sounds really harsh, but they are so good at avoiding the topic, diverting it to something else. Anything to not talk about the issue at hand. Try to get through to them. So the only way to do it is basically when they reach out to you, or you can ask them, hey, how things going? It's important to keep that lifeline, to keep giving signs of, hey, I'm still here. I still want to know how you're doing, because once they're on their own, then all they can do is go to the other person, the toxic one, and then it's over and done with. What you also can do is you can have them rationalize things, write things down. But again, what if they are so brainwashed, so indoctrinated growing up? What if those mindsets have been put in place so firmly that they say, no, and they start acting like children? You can still send them something and say, hey, so I use the word normalization nowadays. So what's normal? What life should be? And those people are so good at coming up with excuses and lies. And they may not even think it's a lie. They may not believe it. But it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that later on. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Do it now. No, because I'm going to do it later on. Just that discussion by itself, you already know it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And that's why I say sometimes it does help to actually send something to them. But here's the thing. If you know you are in a toxic relationship, whether it's a partner or whatever, someone you depend on, and I know there are a lot of people out there, then figure out what are they giving you and what is it costing you, especially that part. What is it costing you? Because a lot of people, when they're dealing with mental pain, they start drinking, they start using drugs or other prescriptions, anything to numb them. Other people, they start cutting themselves. And we don't want that. We want you to be safe. We want you to be happy. We want you to feel normal. And please reach out to other people when you know that you are not in a good place. But be realistic. Be realistic. Listen to the other people when you hear what's going on. Because this is not going to end by itself. You have to make the decision. And yeah, it's going to hurt. There's going to be grief. Every time a relationship stops, there's going to be grief. And then, of course, you have to deal with the abuse that has been going on for so long that you probably let going on because of fear of missing out. Whether it's fear of not getting love anymore, or fear of I can't support myself, fear of once they know, oh my God, the world is going to come crashing down on me. But the question is, isn't the world already crashing down on you? That's the main question. Because if it is, how much worse can it get? Can it really get that bad? Or is it already that bad? And is it long overdue to change things? Well, if you know people or you're in such a situation, then please reach out to me and please respond with a comment. And you don't have to make it about you. You can say, oh, I know someone who... But let's get this conversation going. Let's get it going. And please show this to other people you know are in a toxic relationship and they don't know how to get away from it. Are you done with the whole abuse thing? Are you done with the whole narcissism thing? Do you need some more courage to speak up? Then go watch that next video. Watch that next video. It will give you a better comprehension about what's going on in your life. Go there. Go watch it.